Yeah, the original Republican Party had Marxian origins as well in its inception. I don't think that they would consider that to be a positive thing anyway. Like the original charter of the Republican Party was about mentioned. The original charter of the Republican Party, I believe, mentioned abolishing slavery in the South, chattel slavery in the South, and wage slavery in the North. Now, of course, that changed quickly, but the Democratic Party and the Republican Party's like identities or opinions were way more geographically locked than it is now. On Labor and Capital by Abraham Lincoln. Ravi Sharan X, thank you for the 5 get the subs. It is not needed nor fitting here, message Congress regarding the Civil War, that a general argument should be made in favor of popular institutions, but there is one point with its connections, not so hackneyed as most others, to which I ask of brief attention. It is the effect to place on capital on equal footing with, if not above, labor in the structure of government. It is the effect to place capital on an equal footing with, if not above, labor in the structure of government. It is assumed that labor is available only in connection with capital, that nobody labors unless somebody else owning capital somehow by the use of it induces him to labor. This is saying that labor could exist without capital, but capital cannot exist without labor. This is a fundamentally, dare I say, teetering on the edge of Marxism take. Okay? This assumed, it is next considered whether it is best that capital shall hire laborers and thus induce them to work by their own consent or by them, and drive them to it without their consent. Having proceeded thus far, it is naturally concluded that all laborers are either hired laborers or what we call slaves. And further, it is assumed that whoever is once a hired laborer is fixed in that condition for life, a permanent class position. Now, there is no such relation between capital and labor as assumed, nor there is any such thing as a free man being fixed for life in the condition of a hired laborer. Both of these assumptions are false, and all inferences from them are groundless. Labor is prior to and independent of capital. Capital is only the fruit of labor, and could never have existed if labor had not first existed. Labor is the superior of capital and deserves much higher consideration. Capital has its rights, which are as worthy as protection as any other rights. Bit of a wishy-washy take at the end, but because we know Abe Lincoln left Marx on red, which was kind of fucked up. Old Abe, it was as I like to say, bisexual Marxist. A bisexual communist. Literally. Okay? So, remember that. Whenever you hear about the party of Abraham Lincoln. One top hat, two faces. Anyway. Let's move on. Yes, I ripped Giano here.